practice was this, and what were you doing at the time?
It was towards the end of practice. We were running through some scout team plays, so we were getting ready for BYU's offense, and we were practicing our defense. And it wasn't like we'd actually just gotten done with going up and down and running a lot, and we were doing half court stuff. So it wasn't anything like really super tiring or anything. So towards the end, and just running through their plays.
And the teammate that you kind of collapsed into, I'm sure you had talked with him. How is he doing after experiencing this?
I actually haven't talked to him.
Haven't?
I haven't seen. I've seen my roommates there on Spencer Butterfield and Sean Harris. I've seen them, but I haven't seen the rest of the team.
And Mike, can you just take us through the timeline real quick, as far as you across the court, you ran and you did CPR. How many did you
I actually only did three sets of CPR. Because I did the 2 breaths and 30 chest compressions, and then the AED was there, and I hooked that up. As soon as you hook that up, it analyzes so you can't touch it, and that's actually the worst part, because it takes like 15 seconds to analyze, and you're just sitting there watching, and you can't do anything. So it analyzed, it said shock advised, stand back. We stood back, it shocked him. I started CPR, and I did the 2 breaths, 15 compressions, 2 breaths, 15 compressions, and the third time I went to the breaths. On the second breath, he kind of gurgled a little bit, and I blew another one really hard, and then his pulse, as I pulled up, I actually saw his pulse in his carotid artery before I felt it, and I felt his pulse, and I felt his chest. And at this point, the campus police were there, and it from there, it seemed like seconds that the ambulance was there, the EMTs were there, and one of them came over, and I just grabbed him and let him take my place and got out of the way and let them do their job. But as far as actual time, I don't know. The AED, we have the timer that's on the AED. The AED, the lid was open and closed. It was open for less than 5 minutes. And a lot of that time is the calibration of it before the shock and stuff. And then after the EMTs got there, even though I'm doing compressions, and once he gets his heart rate back, that's still timing. They keep it on there just because it's still analyzing. So out of that, 4.5 to 5 minutes that was on him, he was breathing and had the heart rate for probably 3. And these are guesses. They do studies on these things, and time always, like for the one there, it seems like you're doing it faster. So I don't know exact times on any of it. Like I say, my focus wasn't how long is this taking. It was basically 2 breast compressions, 2 breast compressions. That was all I was thinking.
I know you're trained to be professional and try to remain, obviously remain calm, but how scared were you or worried? What's the right word?
I wasn't at all. I really didn't think much. As soon as I looked down and I kind of felt him, when I first got there, I felt the pulse. As soon as I felt that was gone and saw him quit breathing, I just went into do CPR. By then, everything, the chain was already started and everybody was on their way. So I really didn't. Afterwards, as soon as I got done, I went to call our team doctor, and I dialed and I held the phone up, and I started getting mad because it's ringing and ringing and ringing. Nobody's answered. I looked down and I dialed like 10 random digits, and I tried to dial again, and my hand's all shaking. So after, the adrenaline kind of got there, but fortunately that was after, because dialing the phone's not really that critical.
Mike, I apologize if this has been asked already, but have you ever had to revive someone like that before?
No, I've not.
Only in the classroom or something of that nature?
Well, no, I've never had to do CPR. I have to teach it, but I've never actually had to do it on anyone.
Now I've heard that you guys, as a staff, did some training by the hospital. Is that correct?
The hospital does the CPR training for our staff, CPR and AED training for the staff. I do mine through American Red Cross because that's what our coaches are certified in, CPR and American Red Cross, and I'm certified to teach them. So mine's a little different, but that's only because I haven't switched over to the American Heart. I can teach all our coaches American Heart, but it's all 2 breaths, 30. It's all the same. It's all CPR, and they teach it the same nowadays. It's pretty universal.
Mike, do you think you're still training? Is that how it kicked in? Is that how you kept your calm? I mean, because you get to know these guys pretty well. You're with around them all the time.
You know, I've thought about this about 100,000 times in the last 4 or 5 days, and I hope it's training. I would like to say I'm that skilled, but I don't know. I don't know if that was it. I think throughout this whole situation, we've all just been blessed, and that's really all I know for sure.
Mike, medically, are you kind of surprised to see Danny up and around and as sort of nimble as he has been in these last couple of days already?
Yeah, I am to a certain extent, because the heart, once you get it and they find out there's no damage to it, then as soon as you get your energy back, you can start going, you can start doing stuff. But where they put the device in, this is the first athlete we have ever had that's had this defibrillator in there. So it is a little bit surprising to see him up and that quick, and to find out that, you know, the doctors say 3 to 4 weeks he can be back out running around and getting ready for basketball. It's a little bit surprising.
Do you anticipate that, Mike, you'll have to do anything different medically, or they told you, or they have gotten into that yet?
We haven't gotten into that. I think when people talk about getting back and playing, right now they're kind of getting ahead of themselves. Right now, the biggest concern is Danny's health. And he's healthy and he's good, and that's fine. But as we start doing rehab, we'll start learning more, we'll start talking to the doctors, because there are restrictions with this thing. You cannot take up arc welding, from my understanding.
Not take up what, I'm sorry?
So there are some restrictions, and we're all going to have to learn that as we go. Again, this is new to all of us. Danny will be the expert on it by the time this is all done. And it's going to be lifelong stuff. So we'll kind of deal with that as we come across those bridges when we come to it like this.
And Danny, are you tired? I mean, you've been in the hospital since Tuesday. I mean, can you?
Yeah, I'm actually really tired right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home and take a nap after this, but just haven't got great sleep at night, so I'll be all right though.
And how much will that game mean? I've seen this spectrum and it's crazy. Is that going to be too much for you?
I'll be all right. I won't be running up and down, so it'll be fun.
Going forward, are you ever going to let this guy out of your sight? Going around all the time?
I tried to tell the doctor that I wanted him to be my personal defibrillator, but they didn't buy it. They didn't put one in there. But I owe Mike a lot. I can't ever pay him back. And he's one of the smartest guys I know and lifelong friend.
Yeah, can you talk about the outpouring of support you received? I know Bill went down and visited you, Bill Sprott, and
Yeah.
Coach Ty Corbin came and visited you, and then obviously the students signed cards and things like that. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's been pretty unbelievable. A lot of friends came down to see me in the hospital. Bill's been there, and Bill actually had some heart problems, so he knows what to do. He brought a whole bag of stuff for the hospital, and toothbrushes and all kinds of stuff. And Coach Corbin came and visited me, and so did Gordon Hayward. I actually was in a procedure when he came, but he got to talk to my family and friends. And the students at Utah State have been unbelievable. He wrote a bunch of notes. They had a table set up, I guess, in the school. So the internet's been going crazy, tons of messages and stuff, and I just can't thank people enough for their prayers and thoughts and helping me out by doing that.
And before this, what was the most serious injury or incident you'd ever been through?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Oh yeah, I think I got a concussion one time, but like nothing too serious. Sprained ankle maybe.
Mike, I kind of want to ask you about sort of, what you did being on TV and in newspapers and all that. Is that kind of strange? Have people come up to you, talking to you, wanting to talk to you about what you did?
It is. It's odd, and you never want it to be in this kind of situation, but with the situation that ended like this, that's very fortunate that you can get that. The Utah Jazz, back to what Danny said, their organization called, their trainer Gary Briggs called and said, whatever we need to do, let us know. We will do anything we can. That was very supportive. Andy Katz, I just sent him an email thanking him for the article that he wrote. And it is odd when you see your name, associated with some of the things that they are writing. me because I know how fortunate that this whole situation is. Even though everything was done correctly, it still could have gone the wrong way. And that's very fortunate. And it's really good in athletics nowadays to see a happy, a positive story. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in athletics that doesn't end the way it should, and this has, and we hope that this continues. So yeah, it is weird to see your name associated with that kind of stuff when you don't really feel like you just feel like you were a part of it. You're part of a